Okay, this one's going to be a little bit different. We are unboxing my new toy. Yay! My sister sent this to me. At least I think she sent this to me. Either that or I bought it. I think she sent this to me. Anyway, the inspiration for this video is Dollar Tree dinners when she did a hotel room cooking, which was allowed at the place she was staying. There was a microwave and such. But she wanted to try some other stuff, and somebody had given her, or maybe she had purchased one, a hot pot, and she wanted to try it out. And she managed to uh, brown some burritos in it. She also cooked noodles. She cooked a couple of other things in it too. And I was just like, wow, this is kind of incredible. So clearly, I need one. I do encourage you to go check that out. I will try and put in the dates of that. But anyway, her channel is called Dollar Tree Dinner. She does a lot of really interesting budget cooking stuff. And I'll see if I can find the title of that video and post it somewhere here. All right, so we have the multifunctional electric hot pot. Sometimes they call these like noodle cookers or ramen cookers. A lot of times they just call them a hot pot. So directions are over here. We've got a lid. Eggs can be dangerous, apparently. It's actually true. I don't know, I work in pediatrics. I promise I do clean stuff up after I'm done. There. Okay, so we got the cord. The interesting thing is, instead of plugging in the base or whatever, it actually plugs in apparently in the handle. So what we're going to start off this morning is hopefully ramen with the chopped up eggs, chopped up tomato stirred in, and a fried egg for the top. So we're going to see how that comes out. First thing we're going to do is see if this is long enough to plug into my one available outlet, which is up there. So that should be interesting. This must be, oh, there's a fan in the base. Okay. I think there's also like a steamer. All right. The question is, does it reach? Need to take a little safety covering off it. Does it right? Yeah, it does. Okay, now will it set down? It actually will. Wonders never cease. Okay, cover goes like that. They include a little spatula. That's cute. I don't know if I'm going to use that, but we'll see. Well, I'll just unwrap it. The astute among you will realize my hair looks different. I went to the salon and had it cut and highlighted. May get pictures made this holiday season, and I want to be ready. Thanksgiving, sadly, we're not going to the place we usually go to because our hosts are not feeling well. So, kind of sad about that. So, we're going to figure it out. All right, and that's everything that was in there. So it's a Dezin electric hot pot, 2-liter, 800 watts. And this is the steamer. Okay. I guess it goes here. Interesting. And it feels warm. How do you turn it off? That must be off. Okay. So before we start, it's going to take a minute. Oops. And wash it out. Okay, so after actually reading the directions, yes, this is the steamer. Something like this, apparently. So you can put water in the bottom, vegetables in the top. This looks like it would hold a whole bag of vegetables. And I think they say like 8 to 10 minutes. I don't know if that's fresh or frozen. There's also a lid, 2 ventilator holes, so you can steam vegetables, of course. And then in the hot pot, they tell you how to cook eggs. Apparently, you can like toast bread in there. because it's nonstick and it's very nonstick. And then you can also, it gives instructions on how to make hot pot, basically boiling the water on the high function, adding the seasonings, and then you can cook the meats and vegetables in there. All right, so it does have an indicator light here. It's not on right now. And then it's got off, which is the farthest forward. And then it's got a low setting with 1 bar. And then it's got a high setting. So if you want to boil water, you want to turn all the way off. We are going to attempt to cook the egg first before we make the ramen. And while that's cooking, all right, that's on that. Yep, there's our indicator light. Okay, get out my pan. One of the things that was discussed, interestingly, in the comments section of the Dollar Tree dinner videos was how not to trash a hotel room's plumbing. When you're washing up, if you choose to cook in a hotel room, somebody made an interesting comparison as to what belongs in the sink and what should be discarded in the toilet. It basically compared it to, like, if you eat something and it doesn't agree with you, you don't do that in the sink, you do that in the toilet. So basically all cooking leftovers, waste fats, etc., although fats should honestly be discarded. We're going to turn this to low. I don't think it needs to be at high. And then we're going to put the lid on. Waste fats should go. I suppose if I were a hotel room, where would I put it? Oh, I'd probably find the disposable coffee cup, let the waste fat cool, pour it into the disposable coffee cup, and discard that. Anything else, like if it were like vegetable juice or leftover pasta sauce, not in the sink. Not in the sink. Put it in the toilet and then flush it before you do it. Make sure it's functioning correctly. And then put the cooled waste stuff in the toilet and then flush it again. That's about it. I just kind of did that automatically on the rare occasion where I actually have to cook in a hotel room and I don't have the little kitchenette set up where they have like the microwave with the fan and the little 2-top burner setup. There's usually no oven. And then there's usually a full-size or almost full-size fridge. So, all right, that's coming along nicely. While that works, let me chop up the tomato. This over here. But yeah, the real kicker, I think, and I'm not sure if this was mentioned in the comments or not, the real kicker, I think, is smells. So if you're going to do this in a hotel room, like, ramen's fine, eggs are fine, heating up soup is fine, microwave entrees are fine, lutefisk is not fine, durian, not fine. Don't be deep frying anything. In fact, this is probably the extent of all the frying that I would ever do in a hotel room is a spritz of pan. Other than that, no. I would say from the size of the pan, you're going to be kind of limited as far as how many people you can feed with this. I could see easily preparing food for two people, something in the bottom, and then some vegetables on the top, or you could even steam some like hot stickers, something like that, in the top. You could probably cook for 3 or 4 if you also had a rice cooker with you and we're deploying a bunch of rice as a base. That would probably work. But I think that this is probably limited to, let's turn that off. And how cooked is this? Oh yeah, that's nice. I don't think you're going to be able to see it from here, but we're going to try. That only took a few minutes. So we're going to give it another 1 minute. Plate ready. This is fast. This is actually quite fast. don't think we're using our steamer today. Well, not for this meal anyway. So we're going to put the tomatoes on one. And these are just going to go in. The ramen's all cooked. So I'm the weirdo that likes raw tomatoes. All right, I need to get some water to cook the ramen. Sometimes, just for fun, I go over to the subreddit. I think it's called Behind the Front Desk or Housekeeping, and read about all the awful, regrettable things that people do. All right, we're going to turn this back to high. In hotel rooms and how it pisses them off. So even though I am pouring water from my, what is this called? French press, they did say that when people cook in their coffee makers to cook like ramen and stuff, it can be a real challenge apparently to clean up after that. And they end up throwing them away, which is enormously wasteful. But if you can't clean it, and that's not really their job, the cost of labor is such that it's not like they can go around and do a full deep kitchen clean after somebody who's been cooking hard-boiled eggs or whatever. So that's where the beauty of this little guy comes in. You can stop trying to grill not French toast, grilled cheese with an iron and some foil. They also took a very dim view of that. And apparently people who had done extremely egregious things, like trying to deep fry chicken in the hotel room, doesn't that just sound like a bad idea? Yeah. Those people went on a list of DNRs, and that's like do not resuscitate. That's do not rent. So, all right. Scissors. All right, so this is vermicelli ho fan. Oh, cool. I think this might be like the rice ones, maybe. That's ho fan mushroom soup flavor, non-fried. And I think I chose this one because it's only like 276 calories for the whole packet. Let's see, what's it made with, rice or flour? I'm sure it can't just be me that is noticing that they're making the font smaller and smaller. I'm sure it can't be like the fact that I'm old and can't see very well. Oh, so they have it in French. That's not helpful. Well, yeah, still. That's the seasoning packet. Rice, cornstarch, water. Oh, okay. Interesting. So they are rice noodles. Okay. Nice. Haven't had those in a while. What have we got here? All right, so we've got our little tray of, yep, those are rice noodles. How long do we cook these for? This is quite the fancy breakfast. Oh, and in order to keep my egg warm, usually what I do if it hasn't cooked for a while, I just stick it in there. I don't turn it on. It's just like a proofing box for bread. Let's see. Three minutes. And they kindly reminded me that I'm going to need, of course, chopsticks. Also a fork. I'm kind of clumsy. Yes, chopsticks. All right, that's boiling. Is seasoning under here? Yes, we have two. What is this? Oh, this is probably like the vegetables or something. Soup base. And this must go on over top. What does it say? I should probably read the directions. Cook for about 3 minutes. Shut down the heat. Add soup and sauce packet. Okay. First we cook it. All right. Wow, this is hot. This is it's a hot little pot. All right. Definitely getting all of our recommended daily allowance of plastic, that's for sure. Okay. All right, that's just a powder. We're going to put it on this plate with the tomatoes. And this is a sauce. Feels vaguely gritty. All right, there. You know, I forgot to set the timer. About another minute. Luckily for me, I've been cooking long enough so that not using a timer is not a huge hardship. All right, that's getting close. About one more minute. And then we'll plate it up, etc. While that's doing its last minute thing, I'm going to turn it off, make some coffee. Okay. It should, yep, doesn't look too bad at all. We have a little bit of an excess of liquid here. I think we were supposed to use like a full 2 cups of broth. Let's taste a noodle. I can get one out. There we go. Yep, that's about right. Okay. We're going to stir in soup base. Turn it on when we do this. An interesting red and gold patterned packet. And it reminds me a lot of the Chinese soap operas that are now appearing on YouTube. And the Turkish ones. I do not speak either language, but luckily a lot of these like dramas have subtitles. I don't know if they must be subtitled by the people who put them on YouTube. And it is interesting how the plot lines, if you know anything about Chinese history or Turkish history, and how it all really went down, and then you compare the soap opera version of it, it's kind of like, yeah, no, it didn't work out like that. That tragic character that was killed off because of the other concubines' machinations. They died at 54, not 18. But they're still highly entertaining, and I like to watch them for the what's the term? It's one where it can be used to apply to either the furnishings and sets or the actors and actresses themselves. Wait, are they all actors now? Actors used to be men and actresses women, and now I think they just call everyone an actor, which is fair, you know. Eye candy. I watch it for the eye candy. I'm too old to go like, ooh, they're hot, you know, but the costuming and the set design, set dressing, and the let's see, set dressing is like a thing that you don't interact with, and then a prop is something that like, oh, Hamlet, you know, whatever. Anyway, the set dressing, I think one is called Ruyi's Royal Love in the Palace, and that one's quite entertaining. I won't say any more lest I incur the wrath of the Chinese government. The other one's called, it's a Turkish drama, and you're all probably shouting at the screen. Rachel, it's called, yeah, whatever. I'll paste it on the screen. It's parts of it are accurate, parts of it are not. Definitely, they whoever's doing the costuming for that series, not exceptionally accurate as far as I know. But then again, how much do we really know? I mean, we're basing this all off on stuff that we see in art, but I'm pretty sure that just like, your whole family dresses up in matching pajamas for Christmas, 2,000 years from now, some archaeologist could unearth that and go like, oh yes, it was customary among the upper classes to dress everyone in these identical two-piece garments. We speculate that these side pockets were meant for business tools. I'm like, no. We don't really know what they wore under their caftans. That sounds vaguely naughty. Oh well. Alright, so now we need a bowl. And I did not pick this because this is Asian food. I got the whole set of 4 at a thrift store because we always got our pho when I was introducing my children to pho at like ages 4 and 5. At the point where I had to take a whole bowl of pho and like separate the noodles, put those in a plate, separate the meat, put that on a plate, and then give them a straw to let them drink their broth. They don't require that anymore. Thank God. But yeah, the pho used to always come in bowls like this, so when I saw them at the thrift store, I was like, yes. Alright, so we're going to unplug this. We are going to decant our noodles, which look like this. Hoping not to spill all the broth out. This is quite a hearty portion. I will be very surprised if I am able to eat all of that. The handle is quite cool. Alright. I'm going to try to get the fried egg on top. I'm going to try not to spill this all on the floor. We're going to see if is this actually going to work? Wow. Kind of impressed. Alright, we're going to taste it and get a thumbnail. One of those weird people that always runs water into their pans so they don't get sticky when I want to wash them up later. Alright, I'm sure at some point I will end up, so that's our bowl. I'm sure at some point I will end up putting hot sauce in this, but let's try and judge it on its own merits first. How long did that whole thing take? Not long. Like, I don't know. Maybe altogether, if I hadn't been videoing it, it would have been faster. I don't know. This is like maybe 10 minutes. And didn't really generate a whole lot of mess. I'm impressed with this little cooker. Like I said, I don't think you could feed a family of 4. I think in that case, you'd probably do better like heating up the spaghetti sauce and meatballs in that thing, and then cooking the pasta in like a larger micro cooker, or honestly, I've done it in a large bowl. It's not difficult. You just break up the spaghetti, put it in there with some boiled water first, and in the microwave, or get it very, very hot, and then put the spaghetti in there, stir it around, and just leave it for like 20 minutes. That's it, and then I'll be ready. Drain and go. But this thing would be handy for the sauce. Oh, that's good. And I know what a fried egg tastes like. Actually, I'm thinking that might not even need any hot sauce. But I'm going to get the thumbnail and eat the rest of this. This is delicious. I officially now very much like this cooker. I haven't even tried the steamer yet. Ooh. Okay, so it's lunchtime and we're gonna see how well this works since this worked for my kids. Let's try making some macaroni and cheese for myself for lunch. It's just the standard blue box, but it's the generic kind. Macaroni and cheese, original cheddar. I think this is the one that goes for like under $1. And I use a little bit of butter and some half and half. So we're just gonna stick the lid on this. Kind of dirty. Clean that up while we wait for this to boil. Okay, it's come to a boil. And I learned from my oldest kid's experience this morning that if you put the pasta in, even if you lower it to low and put the lid on, it will boil over. I'll make a little bit of a mess. I'm not going to do that. I think the package on these things says something like 8 minutes. I have personally always found it only needs about 6. I'm going to set the timer. And it takes less than 4 minutes when you put the water into the hot pot to come to a boil. It does not take long at all. So very quick and very easy. And I am so ready for lunch. Oh, I wonder if we have salsa. Nice. We do. I'm one of those weirdos that likes to dress up their macaroni and cheese with salsa. We'll come back when more exciting stuff is happening. Okay, pasta appears to be done, so I'm just going to turn off the heat, start getting stuff ready. Yeah, that looks done. Yeah, so that didn't take very long. It's quick to come up to the boil, and then it tends to recover the boil pretty fast once you put the food in there. All right, let's get everything ready. And then I just have to drain this. I did find an easier way is instead of messing around with this, just unplug it from the handle. I'm going to drain pasta real quick. Left a little of the pasta water in there, but I'm not turning it back on yet. Because we have half and half instead of milk, I am not adding a ton of butter. Just a little bit. Got in the habit of making it like this because one of my kids is a little bit lactose intolerant. She can handle dairy just fine. But the lactose, which you see more of in skim milk, it's hard for them to break that down. I'm going to turn on the heat a little bit to melt that butter. I did end up eating all of the ramen and egg from this morning, and I was quite full. I need to go buy some more of that mushroom rice noodles because it was quite satisfying and very flavorful, especially with the fresh tomatoes in there. It would not have been as good without the eggs. I do recommend that. All right, now that's hot. Off again. And now all we need is the magic cheese seasoning. Even though I've had really awesome macaroni and cheese in my life, many different kinds, there is still that part of me that likes the old generic neon yellow macaroni and cheese. I remember way back in, gosh, late 80s, early 90s, early 90s probably. Out on my own. Well, no, yeah, very, very tail end of the 80s. on sale. Sometimes you could find like boxes of macaroni and cheese for not the brand, not the Kraft kind, but like Safeway or Fred Meyer's generic brand. I need a little more half and half in there. 10 for $1. Needless to say, those days are long gone. But yeah, that used to be a thing. 4 for $1 was a thing for a long time. Again, not the Kraft. It was always like the generic. And that's about it. Oh, rogue macaroni. And that's going to be my lunch. And I've had macaroni and cheese a million times, so I don't think we need to, taste that on camera. But yeah, from start to finish, this took me 18 minutes to make. Not bad. All right, we'll be back for dinner. Okay, we're finally ready to do the dinner portion of the hot pot day. Needless to say, this is several days later. And I was kind of on the fence as to what I wanted to do for it. And the day after I did the breakfast and lunch portions of the hot pot video, I went to school with one of my patients and I had vegan burgers on the hotline. So I was thinking, turn this off for a minute. I was like, these taste familiar. Yes, I got one. I'll see if I can throw a picture of what the vegan burger looked like. But as I was eating it, I thought two things. This is actually quite yummy. And number two is like, this tastes exactly like the mix that I've been using for, I don't know, 2-3 years. It's Augustin's Farm, and I think it's made with black beans. I'll try and get a picture of this as well. I don't actually have any hamburger buns, but I do have these wait, what are they called? One's bread, one's the filling. Pav bhaji buns. I think pav means bread, and then the bhaji is the filling, which is made of potatoes and onions and all sorts of yummy stuff. And they're indescribably delicious. You think, oh, it's vegetarian, it's good for you. Kind of. There's a lot of butter involved. So I don't put nearly as much butter on my pav bhaji sandwiches than as many do. So I mixed up this. You basically take, in fact, it's perfect for traveling because you could take a scoop of it in order to make 4 patties. You basically just take some of this, a cup, and then rehydrate it with, it says 3/4 cup of water. I personally find it does better, and it says let wait for 10 to 12 minutes to rehydrate. I personally find it works better if you use a little over 3/4 of a cup and leave it for at least a half an hour, if not an hour. That way you end up with it fully rehydrated. So this I made last night. That's hot. Let's get to her. And they come together pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do, since I'm also kind of craving a Big Mac, I'm going to make myself a miniature Big Mac. This is the same one I used in the Uncrustables video. Oh wow, that's firmer than I thought. I'll turn this down. So yeah, if you leave it overnight, it rehydrates much more fully, and you don't get that gritty vegetarian burger texture. So these patties are obviously going to be a lot smaller than you typically make. I think in the calorie breakdown, they say like each 3-inch burger is like 110 calories or something like that. I usually do like to make mine more like sliders. So I don't know. That's probably 2 inches, something like that. I'm terrible at guesstimating dimensions. And then I'm basically going to manufacture a little vegan Big Mac. I will say, I think a lot of times people have complaints about vegan burgers. The biggest issue is the total and complete lack of any kind of fat in most vegan burgers. I think that's why Beyond Beef products were such a hit, as they figured out how to put fat into vegetarian burgers, which made them tastier. But people who were already used to vegetarian burgers were like, oh, this is gross and greasy, because if you're a vegetarian for long enough, your tastes completely change. Um, I am not a vegetarian. I do eat vegetarian food. I like it. I like plant-based food, but I'm not completely vegetarian. Probably never will be. So for me, I know if I try something vegetarian, I'm kind of like, not a whole lot of taste. Mayo is the go-to, because sometimes a boring vegetarian entree, basically all it needs is a little bit of fat, and then the flavor completely and totally changes for the better. However, I will say I think that Beyond Meat products has overshot that ideal amount of fat in it, which is why I don't particularly like to buy their stuff, because to me, it tastes too greasy. But for somebody who's coming off of eating burgers all the time and is very much used to that fat as flavor profile, it's a good crutch to use. But I don't know very many vegetarians who try Beyond Meat products after being vegetarian for years, who stick with it. They're like, oh, this is good. Or some of them were happy that any fast food places were offering vegetarian plant-based options. So they're like, I'll just take whatever I can get. But I'm not a huge fan of it. All right, so these, in my experience, take, I think the label says 3 to 4 minutes. Let's see. 3 to 4 minutes. But I've always done them on the stove in a frying pan, so I have no idea how long they're going to take in this. This thing does run pretty hot, though, so it may not be very long. Flip the first one. But yeah, I tried it. Ooh, that looks nice. I tried it in the cafeteria hotline. Give it one more time. And with the first bite, I was like, oh, this is a school burger that tastes nothing like a school hamburger. Tasted better, actually. And then with the second bite, I was like, I know this. I wonder. So they're either using this or something very much like it. I don't remember how much this is for the whole canister. The entire canister makes 38 servings. I mixed up enough for 4 patties, and there's 4 miniature patties in there. And I would estimate there's probably enough left in here to make 2 more. And I was actually thinking, I wonder if they would make good falafel balls, because we actually do have some tzatziki sauce. So when I eat this little fake Big Mac, I guess we'll have an idea of whether it's going to be a winner or not a winner in the falafel ball. All right. Let's flip the other 2. Ooh, yeah. These so I think the hot pot basically compares to a skillet on the stove, because these are browning pretty quickly. Ideally, I would be using full-fat mayonnaise. We don't have any of that in the house. Both Bob and I switched over to light mayonnaise a long time ago. So we're going to see if that works. But this is definitely, if it's anything like the school one, it's definitely not the sort of thing that you eat dry. I think the school the school lunch ladies know this, because there were packets of ketchup, which they always have, packets of mustard, which they also usually have, and packets of mayonnaise, which are not always totally typical to see on a school hot lunch line. But I think they probably tasted the vegan burgers themselves, and they were like, this needs help. So, which has always kind of mystified me how they get mayonnaise to be shelf stable. This is nothing exciting, it's just kombucha. Oh yeah, those are done. Okay. We're going to take the first one we put on. That on there. Turn that off. There we go. Turns out my kids really, really, really like this hot pot. They use it for noodles, macaroni and cheese. What else did they make in this? I think one of them cooked pasta with red sauce in it. But considering that I only paid $20-some, I think it was close to like 30. I do not regret this purchase at all. Definitely worth it. And I have a feeling it would be great to travel with. Stay! And fall over a little tower of burgers. So this is what they look like. Look like that. But the true test, of course, is in the tasting. Did we put mustard on the other one? Yes. I have a sneaking suspicion this thing is going to be incredibly messy to eat. But we're going to give it our best try. I thought about putting pickles on it, but then I was like, okay, if I put pickles on top of this stack too, it's going to slip and slide all over the place. All right. And it's too small to cut in half. We're just going to see how this goes. Watch Rachel make a total mess. Well, you know, maybe we could cut this thing in half. If we were in a restaurant, they would be charging me at least $17. Well, they'd probably give me a couple. It's not as satisfying as the cheese ball, but this is the best I can do. All right, let's see how it is. Mayonnaise all over my hands. That's good. It doesn't even need hot sauce. One more bite. Those I'll put away for later, and I think I might try those with tzatziki sauce and some rice. Because even though this is the dinner portion of the video, I'm actually cooking this for lunch. There's the time. I don't know if it's going to show up as flicker. It's only like 12:15. Sorry about my hair. I've been running errands all morning. And the air is dry, cold. So static electricity is not my friend. Wash my hands real quick. And that's about it. I'm gonna go eat this, and then later on finishing my area for recording inside that's not in front of the stove. It's almost done. Just had to vacuum. All the furniture's moved, and I think there's like a piece of art we had before the kids were even born. That's gonna go. But yeah, oh yeah, I need to sort out all that wee stuff. But anyway, that's boring. But anyway, so now I will have a place to video in the house and not have to sit outside in the freezing cold. Although, I gotta say, the lighting was excellent out there. All right, I hope you're having a fantastic day. This is the Dezin, I think it's the 2-liter hot pot. And it comes with the steamer. And like I said, I think it was either close to or right at the edge of $30. And I am more than happy with it. I think by this point we've used it couple of dozen times between the kids and I, and we all like it. So, and again, like if you're in the middle of a kitchen renovation, if you are traveling, if you're taking a road trip, it is just plug in, and then it's got a low setting and a high setting. Very straightforward. It's easy to clean. Obviously, don't like submerge in water, or like throw it in the dishwasher or anything stupid. Like, although this could probably go in the dishwasher, and the steamer basket could, but not this unit. But honestly, unless you're making anything extraordinarily greasy or messy, you could probably just like wipe it out with paper towel. Good enough. All right, like and subscribe. Have a fantastic day, and thanks for watching.